Welcome back for part 5. While moving my belongings from the mountains to the sea, my car broke down in the middle of in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of nowhere. I got stuck during the move, had to get it towed, had to figure out how to pay for it and get it fixed. It was really tough. I had to stay at the house in Pine Mountain Club for a couple of days with nothing in it, stranded there until the auto shop opened. It happened on the day I was supposed, so I figured out a solution miraculously. And then on the day I was supposed to pick up the kids from school, I just narrowly made it there and was able to get them. I had asked the kid's dad if he could help out, but he was really busy going to see a concert with his new girlfriend, so he couldn't help out. That move nearly broke me. All right, so switching topics a bit. Switching topics a little bit. Back in 2021 to 2022, my son had started asking me if he could go to Japan with his dad. He was like getting really into Pokemon and anime and Japanese stuff, which was cool, He was 10 and I didn't feel quite comfortable with it yet. I, possibly would have felt comfortable with it later, but I just didn't feel, I don't know. No reason. It just was, just didn't feel quite comfortable with that. My son started, and he didn't have a phone at the time and stuff like that. So this kind of sort of, I think in a way, sort of set a couple things in motion though. My son started acting out at home sometimes. My parenting style has always been, basic rules, basic respect is expected. If there are violations, you get a warning, perhaps a consequence. Pretty simple, really simple, but always with love and nurturing, trying to keep things light and playful when possible. In 2022, I rescheduled my flight to see Grant for August of that year, after we'd made up and been in touch for several months. And this is when we were working on our agency stuff and that sort of thing, working on building that. We were working on, building the agency again, holding on to the hope that we could make it work. I couldn't find care for my cat, Roxy, during that time, and my landlord suddenly didn't want the cat in the house anymore. I was very sad. I had to rehome her. Another loss. I arranged to come out for Grant's birthday that November. That was the last time I saw him in person. Saying goodbye was agony. We both said we loved each other, tried to work out a way to solve the distance, to bridge the impossible gap. But Grant had other responsibilities, looking after his mother, cleaning his cleaning business that he was still rebuilding after COVID's devastation. And once again, the situation with his ex-wife came up. It was discovered that he was in touch with her regularly. He'd recently taken her to lunch to congratulate her for her new job. This made me uncomfortable, a familiar discomfort that had never really gone away. One time we were going on a walk, discussing things, and his phone buzzed. He pretended not to hear it, but I heard it. I asked who it was. He looked at it. It was her, telling him about how things were going with her new job because he'd reached out to her and asked her about it, and she was responding. After I left in November, the communication between us was strained, stretching thin like a wire about to snap. He told me he still wanted to work something out, but he was distant, unreachable in ways that had nothing to do with Miles. I tried to give him space, but I was so sad, carrying that grief around. But I still, accepted that things looked impossible. But I still had hope. I learned he planned to spend Christmas with Teresa. I objected. He disregarded me. After that, he told me he was done with our relationship. He was going to go on dating apps and find someone new. I was heartbroken, but I tried to accept it. What else could I do? We dropped out of communication again. I was confused because I thought he'd wanted to stay together, but clearly I'd been wrong. A couple of months later, in 2023, we got back in touch. He told me I should plan as if he was going to come and see me. Told me that he was still actually trying to work out a solution. Needless to say, I was excited about that. He was very flirty with me, reigniting hope I'd tried to bury. Within a couple of days, after us talking and flirting and stuff like that, I video called him when he was on his way back from a date with another woman, something he'd withheld from me. I was hurt and I asked him to tell me about it. He told me it was none of my business. And then once again, he blocked me everywhere. The cycle continues. My heart shattered all over again. Sorry, this is getting really hard to hold the phone. Later that year, somehow we got back in touch. I think I always wanted to leave it, like, even if we weren't going to stay together, I just wanted to leave it not blocked and not like resisting, just like neutral, like just leave it, like accept it and move on, sure, but like, just kind of truce kind of a thing, like, okay, fine, you messed up, I messed up, we messed up, whatever, like we don't have a solution for sharing a life together, bridging the gap and stuff like that, but hey, whatever, in the beginning I had reached out to him just to be friends, not even like even just distant friends, just whatever, anyway. Okay, so back to in October of 2022, around about the time that I was moving from the mountains to Ventura, my ex-husband tried to gain full custody of the kids using a series of accusations that were either completely fictitious or exaggerated. The court case was eventually dropped as the points turned out to be either moot or untrue. And this was just before my last November trip to Melbourne to visit Grant for his birthday. And around about the same time, I had just started a new job and remote job. And anyway, I was trying to build stability, trying to keep moving forward, even as the ground kept shifting beneath my feet. Also, around about that time, same time as when I went to Melbourne, the alimony stopped from my divorce. Okay, and that looks like that is part 5. We are going to continue with the next one in just a few. I promise I will try not to get too distracted.